Father Vogel. We continue our series on Saint Jean-Baptiste de la Salle's Meditations in Time of Retreat. We're in the 8th meditation on what must be done to make your ministry useful to the Church. Point 3 begins, St. James says, if someone says he has faith that does not have the works, of what use to him is his faith? Can it save him? What would it benefit you then to teach your disciples the truths of the faith if you do not teach them to practice good works? For faith that is not accompanied by works is dead. So he's brought this up from St. James a couple times already, that it's not just the truths of the faith, but also the practice of the faith. The specific practice of the faith he's going to look at here is the virtues. It will not, then, be enough for you to have instructed your disciples about the mysteries of the truths of our holy religion if you have not helped them learn the chief Christian virtues, and if you have not taken an altogether special care to help them put these virtues into practice, as well as all the good of which they are capable at their age. For no matter how much faith they have or how lively it may be, if they do not commit themselves to practice good works, their faith will be of no use to them. So if you haven't really looked at the virtues much or taught the virtues much, there's a richness in the Church's teaching about the virtues. Virtues being this strong disposition for the good, and oftentimes it's helpful to name the good virtue that counters certain specific vices. So if there's struggles and difficulties that a student is going through, oftentimes it can be helpful to mention, well, what's the counter? What's the good that you actually want them to do? Rather than just say, don't do that. Yes, instead, this is what you can develop within you. You must especially teach this maxim to those whom you instruct if you want to put them on the road to heaven, so that you can say to them that you have acted in a way that is beyond reproach, and this has given consolation to us. So the pathway to heaven requires every action that we do moves us one way or the other along that path. And so the virtues, being this firm disposition to the good, leads us upon the path to heaven. He gives some examples of some of the virtues. Inspire them also with piety and self-control in church, and in the exercises of piety you have them perform in the schools. So, yes, self-control within the church. That can be a struggle at times, helping them keep their hands to themselves and pay attention. Instill in them the innocence and humility that our Lord recommends so strongly in the gospel, so that life is not all about me, but humility that I'm not always going to get my way that I want, and to see myself as God sees me. Do not forget to help them acquire gentleness, patience, love, and respect for their patient and their parents, and all the conduct that is proper to a Christian child. In a word, all that our religion demands of them. So, some other examples: to be gentle with one another, maybe especially at recess or when they get upset, when maybe they don't want to share. Patience with one another, maybe even with themselves too. Love and respect for their parents. We want to be, as teachers, we want to be on the same page, and parents, we want to be on the same page with one another to assist our children in the proper direction. So these are just some of the virtues. There are many more virtues that can assist us in reflecting upon the good that we ought to do as opposed to the bad vices, and that can be very good in naming specifically. The more specific we are, oftentimes the more helpful it is for not only ourselves but also for our children. God bless.